Hey guys, welcome back to Math Quest. All right, we're going to do some fraction busting today. So you don't want to have to deal with fractions because sometimes it gets messy, right? Let's get to it. Let me show you how to get rid of them. Without trying to get too technical, what you really need is the least common denominator so that you can divide all of these into evenly. So what I'm going to look at is my denominators, my 4, my 8, and my 2. Always look at the biggest one because it's either going to be your biggest one or it's going to be something bigger than that. You can take multiples of that to try to find your least common denominator. Even if you don't find the least and you find something bigger, it's still going to work. So it's kind of hard to mess it up. All right. So in this case, I can see that my biggest one here is 8. And I know that 4 divides into 8 evenly, 2 divides into 8 evenly, and so does 8. So I'm going to use 8. So what I like to do is write 8 up here. So I'm going to write an 8 because that's what I'm going to be multiplying by. And notice that I'm going to be multiplying every single one of these terms by 8. You cannot just multiply one of the terms. This has to be all of them. And besides, the purpose is to get rid of the fraction. All right. So you'll see a lot of people showing you to multiply and then divide. It doesn't matter. It's hard to mess it up. You can even divide and then multiply. In fact, let me show you that way to show you that it works. So I'm going to take the 8 and divide by 4 here. So 8 divided by 4. Right here is going to give me a 1. Right here is going to give me a 2. Then I take 2 times 3, and that gives me 6. Notice, I got rid of the fraction. All I have is a 6 now. Let's do the same thing here. 8 divided by 8. Well, that's going to give me 1. And then 1 times 3x gives me 3x. Bring down that minus sign. Now 8 divided by 2. 8 divided by 2, it gives me a 1 here. Right here, it gives me a 4. Now multiply the 3 times the 4, and it gives me 12. There you go. I've gotten rid of the fraction. So that's the purpose of fraction busting. This video is not on solving equations, but let's get to it since we're almost there. Let's go ahead and add 12 to both sides. Oops, made a division symbol. Anyway, slow down. Sometimes I tend to get too fast. Okay, slow down. So add 12. And that right there gives me 3x by itself over here. Right here it gets me 18. I divide both sides by 3. Get some space here. And that gives me 1x. This gives me 18 divided by 3, and that equals 6. So x has a value of 6. And that's it. That's all there is to fraction busting. Let me show you one that has a combination of whole numbers and fractions. All right, so on this one, as you can see, we have a fraction, which is 2/5 times x, minus a whole number, which is 4. 1/3 x minus a whole number, which is 8. So not a problem again. What I'm going to focus, the only thing you should be focused on is your denominator. Focus on the denominator. We have a 5 and we have a 3. In this case, I look at the bigger one, which is 5, but I know that if I divide 5 by 3, 3 does not go into it evenly, so I'm not going to be able to divide by 5. So then I look at the next multiple, which is 10. Still, 3 does not go into 10 evenly. Then I look at 15. I say, 15 goes into it evenly. All right, so great. Let's use 15. Now, that's the way you can find your least common denominator. Let me show you a trick in case you don't want to go through that. Since there's only 2 denominators, you can say, okay, well, in this case, what I'm going to do is right here, I'm going to multiply by 5 and I'm going to multiply by 3. That still equals 15, doesn't it? So here, 5 and 3, 5 and 3, and 5 and 3. Okay, that way I don't have to waste time looking for a least common denominator, especially during a test. You don't want to be stressed out for time and all that, so you can just write both denominators in there. And watch, last video I showed you that you can divide first, and so I'm going to go ahead and do this one first so you can eliminate one of the numbers. So in this case, you can see you got a 5 here and a 5 here, so it's going to be 5 divided by 5. That equals 1. I'm left over with a 3 and a 2x. So 3 times 2 equals 6. 6 times x equals 6x. So we got 6x. All right. Now here, notice that this is a whole number. There is nothing that I can divide out. So it's just going to be 15 times 4. And that's going to be a 60. Whoa. No, it's not going to be a 60. Excuse me. Yeah, it is a 60, isn't it? 20 times 3. Oh my God, I'm losing it. All right. You notice me? I make mistakes sometimes. But it is a 60. 20 times 3 is 6. So it is 60. For some reason, 15 times 4 doesn't seem like 60, but it is. All right. Sorry to waste so much time there. Let's continue with this one. We got 3 divided by 3. That equals 1. And then you got 5 times 1x. That simply gives me 5x. And next, this is also a whole number. So this is going to be 15 times 8. In case you don't have a calculator, you can simply do 5 times 8. And that gives you 40. And then multiply that times 3. 3 times 4 is 12. So that answer is going to be 120. Hope that made sense. And if it doesn't, just grab a calculator. No big deal. All right? Because the point of this is to get rid of the fractions. And as you notice, I got rid of the fractions. All I have left is whole numbers. And so now all I have to do is combine like terms. Let's use a different color. I feel colorful today. So minus 5x, minus 5x. That'll be my first step here. Oops. So that cancels out. This is 6 minus 5, which gives me 1x minus 60 equals negative 120. All right, let's go back to the black color and let's do plus 60 on each side. So this right here will eliminate, giving me x all by itself, which is always what I want, equals, and then 120 minus 60 will give me 60. All right, and that will be my final answer. That's the same answer that I would have received if I would have never eliminated the fraction. But that's in case you don't want to deal with, you don't ever have to deal with fractions. You can do this every single time and get rid of the fractions. Otherwise, you would have to multiply both sides by the reciprocal and do all that and know all those rules as well. All right, so this is designed to make math easy, and I hope I made it a lot easier for you. If you got value out of this video, please like and subscribe, because my channel grows when you're happy. All right, thank you so much, and I'll see you next time on Math Quiz.